but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really enjoying myself that much right now. It's absolute shit. So, and I'm soaked all the way through, of course. In the beginning of summer, I was invited by Sverre to go on a bikepacking trip on the west coast of Norway and decided to go for it in mid-August. The forecast said rain and we packed accordingly, but the weather that was approaching and that would cause problems in big parts of Norway, something that we did not expect at all. So welcome to Norway and welcome to a classic west coast bikepacking trip here in this lovely country. Started out in Oppdal, rode easy towards Sunndalsøra, which were around 60 k's, and we made it there almost completely dry. But it was that evening the rain really started to come down. We watched some world championships, took it easy, and hoped that the next day would not be as bad as forecasted. Today, like a lot, but we are pushing through, trying to keep dry. Just gotta enjoy the day and get over those climbs, see how we'll do when we get there. We're heading for Åndalsnes, doing 40 k's so far, and as you can see, the conditions are pretty horrible. Yeah, it's raining constantly, non-stop, and the forecast says it's going to be like this today and the whole tomorrow before it's probably going to lighten up again in a couple of days time. So at least that's something to look forward to, but in the meantime we just gotta get through this one way or another. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really enjoying myself that much right now. Soaked, cold, miserable, and we've got some climbs to do, but actually they are quite welcome right now, considering that's one way to keep warm at least. Started on the biggest climb of the day, 500-600 height meters, 10% gradient, 7 kilometers to the top. So, yep, the struggle is real. We made it to the top, 500 height meters from sea level. Not too bad, but not too fun either. I think it would have been like blue skies and sun would probably have been a more pleasant experience, but it's not, as I said many times, it's absolute shit. So it is what it is, but at least now we can descend straight back to the fjord again. So it's gonna be nice, but also a little bit cold. I decided to change into dry clothes before descending down to the other side, but the rain just continued, and by the time we were at the bottom, I was completely soaked again. Luckily, Anna, a good friend of mine who lives close to Åndalsnes, were kind enough to give us shelter and a bed for the night. We managed to dry most of our clothes, but we knew that the next day would be as bad, if not even worse, and we had some massive climbs coming up as well.
The road is officially closed. I knew that beforehand, and when we started riding from the ice fjord, it wasn't any rain or anything. But then as we came closer to the official gate that closes this road, the Troll Ladder Road, the rain started pouring down. So in hindsight, we should have got up earlier so that we had that window of a few hours with no rain. But hindsight is 2020, so basically it's piss pouring again, and we're on our way up to the top, and I'm soaked all the way through, of course. So that sucks. The plan is to go to Geiranger, but not so sure about that yet. This is so extreme. Really extreme.
Made it to the top eventually, and a little break in the weather on the descent made it possible to fire up the drone to get some nice shots going down to Valldal. Here we decided to call it a day after a long and wet ride going over the mountain pass back down to the fjord. Surely the weather would get better from now on. Anything but rain would do. We came to Valldal in the afternoon yesterday after passing the Troll Ladder in the rain, and then back down again to the fjord here at Valldal. It stopped raining once we got to the fjord, but took a coffee and then it started raining again to go to Geiranger. But we were cold, we were tired, decided to check in here at the fjord hotel. So yeah, it's been a couple of miserable days, as I have mentioned quite a few times now, but it's with that said, we couldn't have chosen a worse week to do this, because we are now in the middle of I don't know what to call it. It's not necessarily a storm, but it's sort of a rainy weather window called Hans, which is causing flooding and lots of damage all over the country, to be honest. So, and we're in the middle of it bikepacking, so it's kind of funny in one way that we decided to do this probably in the worst time in 25 years. But we've done 2 days now in the rain, 2.5, so maybe we'll manage to get through today, and then towards the weekend gonna clear up, and we've ridden the storm off, to put it that way. We jumped on our bikes again after a nice hotel breakfast and headed for Geiranger, and eventually Stry. The filet mignon of the route, one could say. With only grey skies and no rain, the spirits were high, but would it last?
Can you ride with one hand on the bike while I launch the drone? Let's try it out.
Let's try, yes.
After an amazing start to the day, climbing up some amazing scenery, we were now ready to descend all the way down to Geiranger, a little fjord town in Norway that is not known by a lot of people. Quite the hidden gem. pretty nice climb from the ferry, and then an even nicer descent down to Geiranger, where we're now. Just had a coffee, a brownie, and now we're gonna start climbing again up to Grotli. It's 40 k's and 1,000 height meters of climbing, and hopefully the weather is gonna be with us today so that we can get down to Stryn nice and dry. But we'll see how that's gonna turn out. What you see here is the face of a man who has no idea what's waiting for him, and a man who just couldn't shut up about the weather. So we've been doing 500 words so far, straight up from the fjord down at Geiranger. As you can see, we got a lot of more climbing to do, actually only halfway, so we got 500 more words before we're probably gonna get to the top and get to the place we're gonna lunch. It's a decent climb, to put it that way, but we're holding steady pace. It's going really good. I feel quite light, quite good. Legs are working, so we just gotta continue on push towards the Grotli, where we're gonna have lunch, and hopefully the weather will stay like this. Then we don't have to put on any rain clothes. We can get down to Stryn nice and dry later today. I'm just becoming a meme at this point, but still quite far there. We continued with the climb and soaked up the beautiful landscape that was surrounding us. However, it was a short-lived pleasure, as this idiot managed to jinx the weather down at Geiranger, and things were now starting to look pretty grim. Guess you can say we now soaked up the landscape quite literally. We made it to Grotli from Geiranger. That was a climb of around 1,000 height meters. Had lunch, or guess dinner, I don't know. It's getting quite late, so I'd say early dinner. And now we're going over to Stryn, and the new road aren't allowed for cyclists because you have to go through tunnels, so we're on the old road. And it's starting pouring properly now, so it's a massive day so far. It's a bit of a climbing on this road now, a few hundred height meters, but soon we're gonna descend straight down to the fjord, so just gotta hang in there. After a long and cold descent, we made it back down to sea level. The rain kept coming down, and we decided to get our heads down and ride the last flat 30 k's towards Stryn. This was probably the most heavy day I've ever had on a bike. We found shelter at Stryn Lodge and got ourselves some well-deserved sleep. The next day, we decided to only ride for half a day before taking the bus directly to Sogndal. We needed a rest day. It's probably been some of the most toughest days I ever had on a bike. Riding in the rain for days on end is not something I would recommend, and not something that I'm eager on doing much more, to be honest. But we made it to Sogndal. We took the bus here from a place called Byrkjelo, around 60 km from Stryn, where we were a couple of days ago. You know, when you're riding for that long in the rain, you get quite tired, and that's why we decided to take the bus yesterday after only half a day of riding. So it's nice to come here to Sogndal, put up our tents for the first time on this trip, and now we're gonna take the bus further on towards Flom, and then we're gonna ride the Rallar road towards Geilo tomorrow. So stoked about that. The Rallar road is a really famous gravel road in Norway that goes from west to east, so from Flom to Haugastø, and you can ride on the road further on to Geilo, which is what we're gonna do. Sverre is out for a bike ride, and yeah, and I'm just waiting here, chilling, and when he comes back we're just gonna pack it all up and get on the bus towards Flom.
So hard to see from the moment we arrive. Cornelia, you are one who will survive.
So next to us here is the Flom railway, and it goes up 1,000 height meters to Myrdal station. We're not taking the train, we're riding our bikes, so it's gonna be exciting. That's gonna work out. We had a nice night here at Flom, dinner, chilling out by the tents, just kicking back. But now we're going to Geilo, 100 k's, 2,000 height meters on the Rallar road. Should be fun.
However, to get to Myrdal station, you have to ride up 21 hairpins with an average gradient of 17%. But we channeled our inner GC Kuss and went for it.
Brutal, but at the same time super epic. That was probably the meanest climb I've ever done in my whole life. That was insane, but so awesome, so rad. And now we made it to this hotel, and we're gonna have a coffee, some snacks, and we'll continue on.
Been in your waters, been knocking at your door. I know one thing for sure, I've never been so close before.
So we've been doing almost 1,400 height meters in 40 k's, but it's been absolutely magical, to be honest. It's just been amazing today. My legs are working, The weather is quite nice. It's not too warm, not too cold, a bit cloudy. Sun is popping through the clouds here and there, but it's just amazing. The landscape, the roads, the bike, everything just works today. Good company, of course. Sweaties, hanging on. Yeah.
Truly my lover, but it was over so fast. Just one thing to discover. Oh no, it was never built to last.
I've got stirred, baby. Woo! Sick as fuck. That was brutal. That was. Oof. God damn it. Okay. Next up, Geilo. Let's do this. Let's send it now. After 110 k's and 2,100 meters of elevation gain, we made it to Geilo after almost 11 hours on the bike. We got ourselves some nice sleep inside and we're ready for one last massive push towards Oslo. So we made it to Geilo last night. Spent the night at our apartment there, and now we are actually gonna do a 250k push towards Oslo. And we're starting the day off with some gravel riding, but as you can see, this is the ramifications of Hans, the weather that came through Norway this past week. The road is just completely gone, and yeah, it's just rocks everywhere, and it's pretty crazy actually. And they're also doing some work down at the railroad just next to here, so that's why it's closed, because they have to fix that one again. So yeah, it's been an interesting week, to put it mildly. So we've been pushing 200 k's today, straight from Geilo. It's been a long day to say the least. It's basically just been head down all day and just pedaling, not filming much, just trying to get home as fast as possible. We're pretty close now, currently on the last climb up to Nordmarka, and then once you're on the top, it's down to Sørkedalen, and then we're pretty much home free. We made it to Damsjøen after the last proper brutal climb of the trip, and we now entered Nordmarka in the dark with no proper lights. However, we made it out eventually, and we were finally home free. Our journey had come to an end.